Jolly good show, Major.
What's going on, TTC? Thank you for joining me on The Proper Conversation. So as everybody undoubtedly has heard, the NFL and Roger Goodell have dropped the hammer on the New England Patriots and Tom Brady and that whole situation. So I figured I'd go ahead and give my little 2 cents on the situation, as everybody else seems to have already. And the way I feel about it is this. When it comes down to it, you know, you have a lot of New England Patriot fans that are trying to dismiss this whole thing as not a big deal. Truth be told, when it comes down to it, does the fact that they let the air out of the balls make a difference in the outcome of the game? Well, initially you'd say no, but the reality of it is they cheated. Now, there's no way that Indy was going to win that game regardless, okay? But you have to consider they did that in that Indy game. It isn't the first time they've done it, and they've probably been doing it all along. It just finally got out, okay? The New England Patriots have a long-standing history of being known as for, you know, their gamesmanship, which is the proper etiquette way of saying cheating. It goes overboard. It goes overboard, from Spygate to fucking, to Deflate-Gate. It's cheating. There's a rule. There's a specification that these balls are supposed to be inflated to. You know, there's a high and there's a low end, and you have that whole window to work with. And Tom Brady chose to go outside that window in order to gain a competitive edge. Okay, the reality of it is, a slightly less inflated ball is easier to throw and catch than a ball that's has more air in it. Whether or not, I mean, it's really even impossible to say, did it make a difference, did it not? Maybe it did. Maybe Tom Brady has bitch hands, and his whole career has been made of him throwing a football that's underinflated. Maybe Tom Brady's legacy is going to maybe his what we know as his skill is going to change starting this coming season, because he now has to play with a football that's inflated to the correct PSI. Maybe, we don't know, but maybe, maybe his receivers are able to catch his passes because the balls are underinflated. Maybe, we don't know, because they've been playing more than likely with underinflated balls the entire time. So what we do know is this. Players that become big names, especially receivers in New England, go to other teams and don't do shit. So is that writing on the wall? Look at Wes Welker. Wes Welker is nowhere near the guy he was in New England. Okay, no Tom Brady receiver is the same once he leaves Tom Brady. It has yet to happen. We've yet to see a receiver leave the Patriots and go somewhere and be great. I'm not really saying that that's what's happening. I'm just saying, hey, there's a point to argue right there. We know for sure we had Deion Branch. Deion Branch was Super Bowl MVP. The following year he came to Seattle and didn't do shit for us for what, 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that? 2.5 or 3.5 years he was there that he actually played. Didn't do shit in Seattle. Not really, anyway. So, then he goes back to New England and he's a star again. And that happened. That there's no debate about. That actually happened. Right? So, it's hard to say, it's hard to, give examples of things, oh, well, look at this, look at that. We can actually, as Seahawks fans, we can actually say for sure that this happened. Deion Branch was a Super Bowl MVP with New England. The year they beat, I don't remember who they beat. He was Super Bowl MVP. Whatever year the Patriots went that Deion Branch was Super Bowl MVP, that's the year I'm talking about. The following year, that offseason, they let him go. He came to Seattle. And Deion Branch was largely pedestrian in Seattle. Largely pedestrian. Deion Branch was only maybe as effective and probably less effective than our current wide receiver core, and they call them pedestrian. And I don't even know if Deion Branch was that effective when he was there. He then goes back to New England, and all of a sudden Deion Branch is a productive receiver again. That actually happened. So hey, take that information, do what you will with it. If Tom Brady had just came out and said, hey, look, I did what I did in order to, gain a competitive edge. I didn't really think it would be that big of a deal, but I did it, and I apologize for it, or whatever, something along those lines. I'm sure that he wouldn't have gotten a 4-game suspension. I'm sure that they wouldn't have lost a first and fourth round pick. And I'm sure that they wouldn't have got fined $1 million, the team. But Tom Brady, Robert Kraft, and all of the who's of the New England Patriots, they not only did they say it didn't happen, but they discounted and discredited the notion that it was even wasn't considering that they would do that sort of thing. I mean, as smug as Tom Brady was acting, they treated this like it was beneath them. Like it was beneath them. The owner, Robert Kraft, said that the NFL, he expects the NFL to give him an official apology over this whole thing. And now it comes out that it was actually true. Now, whether it was actually true or not, that's another debate. Well, let's tell you what the NFL, there are these things called bylaws that the NFL has written in their book o NFL stuff, right? And the bylaws state that they only need to prove via their legal investigation or whatever you want to call it that that they more than likely are guilty of said offense. Okay, so they don't need to actually have a video of you doing it. All they have to do is prove that you probably did do it beyond a reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. And that's what they prove. That's what the investigation proves. Proves that we can't see you doing it. So this isn't like the court of law, like this is not the Supreme Court, okay? Or even civil court. All right? This isn't we're not investigating anyone for murder. Okay? So we don't need to have a video evidence or an actual witness. All they have to do is prove that given the facts that are there, what's the more likely thing, and they can act on it. That's what the bylaws of the NFL actually say, and that's why the punishments that have been handed down as such. And I agree with it, because it doesn't matter whether you're cheating a little or cheating a lot, you're still cheating. You're tarnishing the shield. You're tarnishing your own legacy. Tom Brady, Belichick, New England. You're tarnishing the integrity of the game that I love. People want to compare it to players using PEDs. Well, I agree. But players that get caught using PEDs, they get caught, they get their sentence, right? They get caught, they get their sentence. This is something that's so underground. They've been doing for years and years and years, more than likely, to get a competitive edge. It's tarnishing the game. You expect things to be on an even playing field. So I believe that cheaters deserve to be punished, and I agree with the. I don't think the suspension should have been any longer than 4 games, but 4 games is good. $1 million fine, that's good. I think it has it has a lot to do with how New England treated the situation, acting like they were above the whole thing when it was more than likely true, when it was true, acting like they're it's so dismissive. I think the $1 million fine is because this is a multiple offense now. This isn't like the first time this has ever happened. The notion that New England is a franchise that cheats is known. It's known. So This is a repeat offender. This is a repeat offender punishment. When you're a repeat offender, your punishment should be harsh, more harsh than someone who's a first-time offender. So that's what I feel about the whole thing. I believe that serves Tom Brady right, and let's see how good he throws the football and how good his receivers catch it when he's playing with a football that is, inflated to his specification. Anyway, that's all I got. Fuck the 49ers. Go Hawks.